Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to take a spoiler-free look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 73. This chapter was a roller coaster. This is probably one of the first chapters that has truly subverted my expectations in any major way. But before we get into that, there are only 4 days left to get yourself a copy, a signed author first edition copy of Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, available on Indiegogo. Head on over to the link below the video and check out Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, short stories of human absurdity. Now, on to the spoiler-free review. This one's going to be tough to be a spoiler-free review because it all focuses on one character dynamic. And I guess I'll start off by talking a little bit about helicopters. And one thing that after I was working through after I was going back and analyzing the chapter, this struck me as one of the more, well, who can say fantastic or unrealistic elements of a kaiju shonen battle manga, but one of the things that has just really secured Kaiju number 8's position as a manga in its own right, which is with its own flavor, is the dedication to physics and realistic mechanics that Matsumoto has shown. Again, this is your basic shonen battle manga. People have compared it to Attack on Titan, to Parasite. This chapter is probably going to get a lot of comparisons to a certain Parasite. But anyway, the concept itself is not in the least bit original. It's a very, very solid, classic shonen concept. And the originality of Kaiju number 8, the distinct Kaiju number 8 flavor, comes in a major part from how dedicated Matsumoto has been to showing the physical reality of this world therein. There are equal and opposite interactions for every reaction. And in one of the realities of the world is that helicopters are held together with safety wire. Those machines are rattling themselves apart every time they take off the ground. And so, if you remove any major part of a helicopter, it generally ceases to function. Because no matter what chunk of the helicopter you remove, you're going to be intersecting safety wires that are holding critical parts together. And if you remove that chunk of the helicopter, the rest of the helicopter is probably going to rattle itself apart. Now, my information is pretty old. Most of my information on helicopters comes from my mom, who was a helicopter mechanic in the Army a good decade before I was born, so I won't tell you how long ago that was, but she worked primarily on Hueys. And had you taken a massive chunk out of the bottom of a Huey, it probably would have fallen out of the sky. So the pilots of a helicopter that has a massive chunk taken out of it are probably not long for this world. But in this image, in this chapter, Matsumoto shows a helicopter taking a significant amount of damage, but not immediately suffering severe consequences. Now, helicopter dynamics could have changed. That particular section of a helicopter that was damaged might not cause significant problems, and I think I'm going to kind of trust Matsumoto on this one. Matsumoto has shown that he can do his research and come up with realistic situations. So I think I'm going to just kind of trust Matsumoto on this one. Maybe there is a helicopter that can lose that much mass from that portion of it without all the safety wires snapping and the action of the rotors just ripping the helicopter apart. But it does make me a little bit uneasy. But hey, I think... And when it comes right down to it, Matsumoto has built up enough good faith from all of the effort that he's put into making sure the physics of this world work logically. And I will say that was a fairly awesome scene, and a scene that caused me to go back and reread the page, because the previous panel where the cause of the helicopter losing that chunk is shown, when you look at that panel in detail, yeah, it's pretty obvious what's going on, but it's not so obvious on the first reading. You have this build-up. You have the interaction between the characters, and then the helicopter falls apart. And when you're reading it the first time, it's just perfect foreshadowing because you don't notice it, but in retrospect, yeah, that's it. You can see exactly what was going on. All right. Now let's get into mild spoilers. From the last chapter, you know that this chapter was going to be about Vice Captain Hoshina and weapons number 10. And this interaction between these two caught me completely off guard. This is not how I saw the interaction going. And I really don't know what I can say about it without giving spoilers. But yeah, we get to see them interacting. We know that Kaiju number 10 is still aware, so it's no surprise that we get to see them communicating with each other. And I just didn't think that it was going to go that way. But I really can't go any further without giving spoilers. So I will have to save that for the full spoiler review for that section. And I will say that as of this moment, it looks like Kaiju number 10 was being more sincere than I suspected. I was expecting more hints of turncoatishness, but I don't see that now. It's so early, and it's too early to tell where Kaiju number 10's personality is taking him, whether he's going to be the complete chaotic neutral that he's setting up to be, that he was setting up to be claiming to be in the last chapters. But their relationship is indicated that it's going to be a lot more wholesome than I was expecting. But that's it for that. I really can't say any more without getting into severe spoilers. But Kaiju number 8, chapter 73, an excellent chapter. It read way too fast, like all of Matsumoto's chapters do. It felt like I just turned one page and the story was over. But that's nothing new. Most of Matsumoto's chapters are like that. This chapter was action heavy, action packed, but Matsumoto did take a moment to remind us that there is a large amount of unresolved tension between Vice Captain Hoshina and Kafka, and it's just in a really off-the-wall way. It shows us, too, that their relationship is still something good, something solid, something wholesome, but there is that tension there between them. There's that concern. And I really appreciated that reminder, because that is not something that is going to be resolved in this chapter, or even in this story arc, or even in this first section of the war. That tension between Kafka and Vice Captain Hoshina is also tied into that ghost that they saw at the shrine. The ghost that Kafka saw at the shrine, or whatever that was. The ghost, the memory, the knowledge granted by the little guy. And that's all ties into the long-term history behind Vice Captain Hoshina's family and the presence of this brother, this cousin that we saw in the other division. And this chapter held a strong reminder that all of that is going to come together, but it's all going to come together chapters and chapters in the future. At least we think so. Matsumoto might spring it on us earlier than that, but we've got all that to look forward to. So those are my thoughts on chapter 73. It's a great action chapter, but there are definitely elements in here that tie this not just to previous chapters, but to chapters that we can see coming many, many months in the future. All right, go check out my book, Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, available on Indiegogo. You're down to the last 3 days. No, not 3 days. The last 4 days before you can get this book. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out. Available on Indiegogo for the month of October 2022. Monty Python meets Star Trek in this third book of human absurdity. This book joins its two siblings in a trilogy of human madness. You can find the first two books, author-signed first editions, at Indiegogo with book 3, or you can go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are available to get your copies of the first two books. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, book 3 in the series, available on Indiegogo, October 2022.